Hi, guys, and welcome to the Horror Room. So, we are getting closer and closer to Halloween, and I know to most people it's probably still a little bit away, but what I used to do back in the day is when August hits, that's officially spooky season to me. I know I'm not the only one. You see people all the time going out and looking at Home Depot or Lowe's for Halloween decorations. Then you got Spirit Halloween coming in and people going in and searching Walmart and Target for costumes and stuff. So I'm not the only one, but I do things a little differently. Now, as you can tell, I've got all of these damn horror movies to get through. So what I used to do, and I decided to do again this year, is make a little, basically like a list of movies that I want to watch because if you can't tell, I have a lot that I haven't watched already. So I decided to make it into a fun thing, and I decided to share it with you guys and kind of give you my idea of what I'm going for. Basically, from August till the end of October, each week I'm going to have a different theme and put a couple movies that I haven't seen into those categories, and each week try and watch those movies. Maybe I'll do little mini reviews here and there if I feel like it. Um, if they're short enough, maybe that'll be like a Wednesday video. But if it's something I have a lot to say about, maybe it'll be a Sunday video. Um, I don't know for sure if I'm going to do that or not. I'm just saying it's an idea I have. Um, but I thought I would share with you the ideas that I came up with for this little horror-thon, if you will. So I divided all the weeks, and I gave them categories because I was like, hey, you, anyone could just pick out a random movie, but let's get a theme going. It's way more fun that way. So here's the themes that I came up with, and I'll tell you some of them. I don't even have tapes on here or movies to watch on here yet, and I'll tell you why. But let me tell you the categories I came up with, and these are going to be in no particular order, of course. First off, I have '90s movies. Perfect. Then I have '80s, of course. You could swap them either way. You could do them in order. Animal movies. We have Giallo, VHS, remakes, anthology films, extreme films, trauma films. Gotta love that one. Full moon films. I'm also a sucker for them. Classic films. Tubi films. That's a weird one, but I'll explain why. And then 2000s films. Now, there's a couple categories that I did not fill in the blanks for. One of them being VHS. Now, you're like, you got a ton of VHS movies. Why don't you fill that in? Well, at the end of August, I'm going to the VHS convention, so I will probably pick up some new movies, fingers crossed, that I haven't watched. And even if not, I've got plenty to choose from. So I decided to leave that blank for now. I also left the Tubi one blank because, you know, Tubi's menu kind of changes all the time. So I just kind of, when that week comes, I'll kind of wing it from there. And I'm going to try and choose movies that either I don't own or I haven't seen at all or don't know anything about, as long as they look good. And Tubi's always changing their, stuff around, but they usually have a great horror selection. So if you're in the mood to watch some movies for free, I would recommend checking out Tubi because they have a lot of hidden gems on there. Um, and there's also some movies that I wanted to wait to watch or categories. One of them was the '90s one. Now I have all the movies ready except for one, and that's the Night of the Living Dead 4K remake. Which, if you've been keeping track of it, it's coming out. It's the uncut, uncensored version that Tom Savini has always wanted to present. So I'm incredibly excited about that one. But unfortunately, I won't be able to do that one till September when it comes out that week. But I did pre order it, so it'll be shipping hopefully the week that it comes out, and I can do that one. I might give it like an extra week just to make sure. But yeah, let's talk about these categories now. Like I said, the VHS one and the Tubi one are blank, so we can't do those yet. But I'm not gonna update you guys on what I put on there. You probably don't even care. But these are just some suggestions for categories. You can do your own. You can do like found footage. You can do killer clowns. You can do slashers. Have fun with it. I'm just showing you what I came up with. And of course, these are all movies that I either haven't seen at all or haven't seen in a very long time. So first off, for the '90s section, I have Breeders. I have the Night of the Living Dead remake, Spontaneous Combustion, which has Brad Dourif in it, and Brad Dourif's a hell of an actor. Let's be honest. So, got to give some more of his films a chance. And People Under the Stairs, a Wes Craven classic. I haven't seen it in a long time, but I don't hear a lot of people shitting on that movie. Then we have the extreme category. I have 100 Tears, which I recently got. I have Audition. I have Cat Sick Blues, and I also have Premutos, or I can't remember how the other way I thought it said. Anyways, then we're for '80s movies. I have Black Roses, Deadly Friend, Fade to Black, and Prom Night 2. Now, I didn't do a '70s category. Well, actually, Prom Night 1 was early '80s, I believe. Probably, yeah, because it was after Halloween. But you don't need to watch Prom Night 1 to watch Prom Night 2, and it's one of those cult movies that I've heard is like so bad it's good. And it has that really iconic cover of like the prom queen doing the locker thing. And a lot of artists have actually parodied that. I think Falling in Reverse did an album where they do that. So that's kind of cool. Then for Trauma, I have Devoured, which is the story of Alfred Packard, which, if you recognize that name, it's because Matt Stone and Trey Parker did a musical version of Alfred Packard called Cannibal the Musical. If I had that, I'd watch it, but that one's probably more of a comedy. This one looks like a horror movie. Girls School Screamers. Never heard of it, but I have it. Might as well check it out. Terror Firmer. I've heard that one's really good. It's like one of the all-times besides like Tromeo and Juliet. And I bought it a while back, so I said, hey, let's check it out. It might be like more of a comedy, but it's going to have that trauma gore and the offensive stuff, so I think it'll fit right in. And then Unspeakable, which I've never heard of, but judging from that title, I think it's going to be interesting. Then for the animal category, I have Eaten Alive, the Tobe Hooper film, not the cannibal one. Then I have Jaws, because I haven't seen the original Jaws in a long time. And it's just it's a easy horror movie to sit down and enjoy. It's not too heavy. It's got great performances, and it's one of those classic films where you don't see the killer too much, mainly because that shark was a piece of crap and they couldn't get it to work half the time. But it kind of worked in the film's favor because it builds up more of the suspense. Then I have Rats, which is a Bruno Mattei movie. And then I have Piranha Women. I was going to put the original Piranha or even Piranha 2 on there, but when I bought Piranha Women, I was like, this movie looks ridiculous. Why not? It technically counts. They're animals. Then I got the Full Moon section. I have The Creeps. I have Doll Graveyard, Netherworld, and Parasite. 4 Full Moon movies that I know nothing about. I just bought them. I'm usually a sucker for Puppet Master, maybe sometimes the Ginger Dead Man movies, but I've seen those, so it's time to give some of these other movies a chance. For Giallo, I have Opera, Shock, Strip Nude for Your Killer. Oops, sorry about that one. And Torso. So, yeah, they're going to be Giallos for sure. Or trashy Italian movies, at least. For Classic, Eyes Without a Face, Bride of Frankenstein, Phantom of the Opera, and Carnival of Souls. I was going to put Eraserhead on here, but I was like, you know what? I've seen that. It's not really horror up until like the last couple minutes, and it's kind of a slow movie. If I'm going to watch something like that, I want to watch something a little more in theme with the horror, and I've heard Carnival of Souls is one of those movies that's not heavy on dialogue, but the atmosphere and maybe the music add to it. So I said, why not? Let's give this one a shot. I have it. I haven't watched it. Come on. For remakes, I chose 2 that I've seen, but I'm showing them to my girlfriend because she's never seen them. And then 2 that I haven't watched yet, and I've been meaning to watch, so I was like, why not? I got the Child's Play remake on there, which, granted wasn't the best, but it has some fun moments. And I do think what they did with the Buddy doll was interesting. They could have pushed it a little further. Uh, I don't know. It feels kind of like the Megan situation. Now, I know this wasn't intended to be a PG 13 movie, but it almost feels like if you trimmed a couple of the scenes, it could totally be a PG 13 Child's Play. And Megan, when it was originally released, was released as PG 13, and then they released like the rated R one. And I like the rated R one, of course. It's a good movie. But like I said, Child's Play is not perfect, but it has its moments that I like. And then, of course, the controversial Nightmare on Elm Street remake. I like it. I know a lot of people hate it because it's, oh, Freddy's like super dark and super serious. And it's like, yeah, well, even in the original, they were going to take that direction, but they decided not to because there were some news stories and stuff at the time. So Wes Craven dialed it back and turned Freddy into a child murderer instead of but this movie said, you know what? That's the scarier, darker Freddy that we want to do, and I respect that decision. Jackie Earl Haley, I believe that's his name. Uh, I don't think he did a terrible job as Freddy. Um, some of the times where he's trying to be like, look at me, like those are a little cheesy. Um, and when he's running from the parents and he's like, I didn't know anything. It's kind of dumb, but all overall, I think it's a fine film. It's not the best remake, but it's definitely no Halloween Rob Zombie. Thank you very much. Um, then I have the Candyman remake because I still haven't checked it out. And, I think Tony Todd had a cameo in it, but, Tony Todd recently passed away this year. I did get to see the new Final Destination Bloodlines, and I like that. So I said, hey, I've seen the original Candymans. Let's check out the remake, see how they honored the film's original legacy, if they did. And then the Suspiria remake, which the only thing that's been me putting it off is because of the length. It's like 2.5 hours long, and even for a horror movie, it takes a while for me to get that time. Um, like the last movie I saw that was that long, and it wasn't technically a horror movie, was Beau is Afraid. It's more like a dark comedy. Unless it's a Quentin Tarantino movie, which I have no problem sitting down and watching one of those. Um, but for a horror movie, that's a pretty long time, and I've heard good things about it. I just haven't had the chance to check it out. So figured now's the opportunity. Then for the 2000s, we have Heavy Metal Apocalypse, which is also known as Deathgasm, which is the way better title, but I have the censored title because how else would they get away with selling that in stores? I'm sure if you bought it online or maybe overseas, like a foreign release, they can call it that. I don't care. I don't, and I think during the movie it does show up as Deathgasm. I can't remember, but either way, it doesn't matter. It's the same movie, but it's a really fun movie. I haven't seen it in a long time. That's why I've stuck it on the list. Then we have The Last Exorcism, which is a found footage movie technically, and it's one that I don't feel a lot of people talk about. It's been a long time since I've watched it, and I feel like it's just good enough to where it's not doing the shaky cam stuff so much. It's not trying to be the Exorcist level of drama, but it's got some pretty intense, creepy moments. Like when they come into that room and she's sitting on top of the dresser, you're like, whoa, no way. And then the whole exorcism in the barn. Then there's the movie May, where I don't know if I have that on VHS. I don't think I do. And it's up. I can kind of reach it. Hold on. Yeah, this movie. If you have not seen May, you're doing yourself a huge disservice. You need to check this movie out. And again, I threw this movie on this list because I haven't seen it in a long time, but it's one of those movies that really stuck with me because of how crazy and fun it is. And the ending legitimately creeps me out. I don't like it. So I had to watch that one again. And then Smile, because that's one of the newer films that's been out that I've been like wanting to watch, and for some reason I haven't. Although I did watch the scene where the monster transforms, and I'm like, oh, I need to check this out. And if I like it, I should probably check out the sequel as well. But no pressure. And then finally, I have the anthology section, which a lot of these I have seen, but who doesn't love a good anthology? Now, I know a lot of people's first thoughts are Trick or Treat or Creep Show, maybe even, watching like the actual Tales from the Crypt TV series or something. I ain't got time for a TV series. We're doing movies. So I have 1031 Part 2, which is a uh, independent horror company that's been releasing these. They're up to I almost said fart. Part 4 or 5, I believe. I still need to order those because I like them a lot. I haven't watched them all, but I can already tell that they're a lot of fun. And I think it was part 1. Part 1 or part 2 had one with the two killers that are fighting over who gets to kill the chick first. That was pretty damn funny, and I liked it. Um, then we have ABCs of Death, because I haven't watched that in a while, and it's like a bunch of mini movies. Now, some of them are way better than others. Um, there's some in that original that I don't even like, technically, but I remember that one way more than the second one, which I don't even have the second one. I think if I found it for cheap, I'd probably grab it. And I think they made it 2.5, which is like kind of all the other submissions that didn't make it. And I thought that was kind of weird to do since they didn't do that for the first film, uh, or just like make a big box set with all the shorts in it. That'd be cool, kind of like they did with the Masters of Horror, or the After Dark films. But those are actual full length movies. So um, then I have Trilogy of Terror 2, which is not within reach, so I'm not going to bother. Um, but that's one that I ordered, and I got the first movie. The first movie's a little slower, so I said, I'm going to go with the second one because I've heard that was a better, like a remake of the original, the Zuni Doll tale. Um, and then, of course, Cat's Eye, because it's a good Stephen King one. Haven't seen it in a while, so I figured, why not? Let's put some Stephen King on this list. So yeah, there you have it. It's basically 13 weeks from August to October. Um, I might choose the theme at random, and then it's just going to be a matter of what movie we want to watch first, what's more convenient. Of course, when I say we, I mean me and my girlfriend, because uh, obviously I want to share a lot of these movies with her, and we're both watching most of these for the first time. So that'll be a lot of fun. Um, and yeah, just an idea for you guys to mull over. Maybe you don't want to do the full 3 months. Maybe you want to start in September, or you're like, you know what, I don't have that many movies to check out. I'll just do October. I'll browse at my own pace. Perfectly fine. But if you're someone like me who's got a lot of movies, and you find yourself going back to the same movies over and over again, I feel like this is a great opportunity to kind of like utilize your horror collection, get some enjoyment out of it. And you never know, you might find some new movies that you like a lot, and you're like, hey, I got to remember to watch this more often, or share it with someone else. Or you might watch a movie and go, oh, this movie sucks. Why is this in my collection? I don't want it. And you can kind of, weed some movies out that way and use those as trade bait to get ones you do want. Um, I know when I got most of these movies, one of the movies I was really excited about watching was Creep Show 3. And after watching that, I was like, I never want to watch this horrible shit show again because it was so bad. And, I get it. It's not George Romero, it's not Stephen King. It's not going to be the same, but man, it was just mind numbingly bad. So if you're thinking about Creepshow 3, let me say no, don't do it. But thanks for watching, guys. I don't know if I'll have a midweek video. And yes, I did cut my hair and shave, so it's still me, though. But I got some new ideas coming up, and eventually at the end of August, of course, I'll have that VHS convention. Check the posts. I'll be posting stuff there. Maybe a little bit of quizzes and stuff. I still want to do like a Q&A video, but I'll kind of wait, see how that goes. Maybe I'll do a poll if you guys are interested in that. But we'll have to either leave the questions under that or under the video that I ask you guys to ask me questions. Something like that. And I still plan on doing the 100 subscriber special, which I'm not going to reveal it yet until it's a little closer. And of course, there'll be a poll for that because it has some options. But yeah, we are getting a little bit closer. I think the last time I checked, it's at 77. So roughly like 23 more people. So if you like this channel and you want to show your friends, I mean, it's just kind of a chill channel, you know. I'm not spitting any new facts or like trying to, whoa guys, you ain't gonna believe this, but hey, it is what it is. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you next week.